Okay, so it's just been reported by TMZ and Hot New Hip Hop that Toni Morrison has passed away. Toni Morrison was a very inspirational author to me. Um, I remember watching Beloved and being really scared as a kid. Um, so I didn't really understand like the big deal about her work. And then it wasn't until recently when I'm not even sure how or why I decided to read. No, that's not true. So through YouTube and watching YouTube videos of just like woke people, people on the Bill Moyer show and Charlie Rose, those type of people, and not and watching Charlie Rose to get away from like the VH1 and MTV reality TV that was going on. From there, I like by following Charlie Rose, I stumbled across his interviews with Toni Morrison, and there's something to be said about a public figure who is down to earth and speaks well about issues that are current. I think of like Issa Rae and people like that who are able to like break through different uh, in various platforms, and regardless of what their work is, and if whether it's ratchet or like whatever it is, they're still able to impart some of themselves and who they are in their interviews. And so I was watching this interview of Toni Morrison, and at the time I'd been using like vocal samples from interviews in my music, and Toni just had all the gems to say in her interviews, in her lectures, in her speeches, and all that kind of stuff. And knowing that she was such a prolific novelist, that made me know that there had to be some work of hers that I would enjoy. And I knew it wasn't Beloved because it scared me as a kid. And that prompted me to go and read the synopsis of Sula, read the synopsis of Tar Baby, read the synopsis of Jazz, read the synopsis of Song of Solomon, and ultimately decide on Song of Solomon. I remember reading Song of Solomon and not really knowing whether or not I would enjoy it until I think maybe until about the second or third page, when I noticed that she was speaking in a voice that wasn't foreign to me, like most novels were at the time, because I didn't know to seek black authors to speak to me in a way that I know now. Uh, now we're just what's the word I'm looking for? We're like spoiled with authors like, well, me at least, I'm spoiled with authors like Baratunde Thurston and Damon Young and Ta-Nehisi Coates. But Toni Morrison, in her time, was able to, I guess, speak that plainly and that directly and that, I guess, lovingly to black readers like me. And I came through in my reading Song of Solomon. What's weird about today and I guess last night is that I had been planning to do an adaptation of a few pages from the Song of Solomon. And so me reading this news, just learned this news on the train on the way back from the camera store. Kind of is unsettling. It kind of seems very timely, which is weird to me. I just wanted to do this adaptation to get people to just to make noise and show people that this is a worthwhile. Although I couldn't make the film, because I don't have any of those resources, that this was a worthwhile story to make. Seeing how they just recently did If Beale Street Could Talk. And various authors, get their works made into films. Song of Solomon is very ripe for the theater, the movie theater. And so I guess, and even she was very giving in her interviews, just to, she was very much in the plight of artists, the plight of black people, and just she was of her demographic, was of her generation, was of her all these things. And I mean, I will miss her greatly. Um, there was a chance when there was a time to, I guess, I think she was playing in, she was giving a speech or lecture or a sit down interview with some other authors. And I think there was like a Ticketmaster or something like that. And I just never took the opportunity to go. But I wish I had, because that's kind of, for being like that being the most impactful book that I'd read up until that point, she's definitely gonna remain as one of my favorite authors ever. Um, just for Song of Solomon. All the other books I didn't really resonate with me. Which, I mean, they shouldn't, because she's writing for a perspective of, I guess, black women, which is an entirely different experience than mine. Um, but I think that Toni was very generous in that she took the time to write a book that was about growing up as a young black man, and along with many other different themes that go in the book, because she's Toni Morrison. Um, I She's also the first person to let me know that like HBCUs are very important. Just knowing that both she and Ta-Nehisi are both Howard alumni made me more aware of the importance of HBCUs moving forward, especially with everything that's going on politically now, as far as trying to get the progressives to actually address student debt and making college affordable, namely HBCUs, to find, like, to address the problems of black people that get lumped into everybody else's problems, and never specifically addressed for the specific trauma that's happened in America, as far as American slavery and all these kind of things. Yeah, so I just wanted to make this video to say that I may try and review. So I do want to do the film adaptation. I do also want to do a review of that book. There are also other books that I want to review, like How to Be Black by Baratunde Thurston. Toni's latest book about self-regard was a great book, just in general. It had nothing to do with it had more to do with humanity than it had to do with anything else. So I thought it was a great thing to go over. Also read Damon Young's What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Blacker. That's another book that I want to review. So I read it on the Rakuten Overdrive Libby app with my library card. And I liked the book so much that I bought it from Mahogany Books. And I think that's where I would like to buy my books moving forward, online. Just because I think Amazon, in its infinite wanting to scale, became so big that it's kind of like challenging any other book retailer, which is dangerous, because they could, once they, let's say they get all the market share of all the publishing and just distribution of books, who's to say that they won't do away with books in general and just make everything digital, and then make it to where people can't access these classics, then make it hierarchical, and next thing you know, we're in the dark ages again. So Mahogany Books is kind of where I'm at as far as where I would like to purchase books. I think they're black owned out of DC. I think it's ran by a guy named Erick and his wife. I saw um, Sensei Seren do a sit down interview with them, which kind of got me into just knowing more about just black businesses to, I guess, pay attention to, and just to, vote with your dollar if you want to see things change. And so from there, again, I just want to say rest in peace to Toni Morrison. Thank you for the Song of Solomon. Thank you for your life's work. Thank you for everything. And this is Young Black Humanity.